Absolutely not. I believe the verdict is a bunch of balderdash. I believe the woman is lying. I believe it is contrived, and the verdict itself is inconsistent. She said she was raped. They found him not guilty of rape, but sexual assault. It makes no sense. I'm the only one who has defended Donald Trump, and as you're witnessing tonight, the only one that will continue to defend Donald Trump. He saved this country, and I look forward to him being president in 2024. I am for the immediate ending of the income tax. And here's how you make up the difference. You make up the difference with the sales tax. But let me tell you what you do. You make sure you protect veterans, disabled, senior citizens. You protect groceries. You protect medicine. You protect all those staples that Kentucky families need. And you make it up for the economy roaring. My motto is less government, more freedom. That's my maxim in this campaign. I'm a Reagan guy. What I would do is cut taxes, decrease regulations, and let the economy roar. Not just with the big corporations coming in, but Main Street, family businesses, small business. But I'm a sales tax guy. I look at what Texas, Tennessee, and Florida does, and I would mimic that.
The rate of sales tax in Tennessee is 7%. What should it be in Kentucky?
I have not decided what that figure would be, but I make admission that sales tax, the sales tax would have to be a number that works. I also want to stress this. I'm against what the Kentucky legislature and Andy Beshear just did by nitpicking on all these services like chiropractors and massage therapists and tattoo artists and all those services industries. They should just leave them alone. Instead, they're taxing them now. I wouldn't do that. I want to thank you for the paper and pen because I used it. We need classroom discipline. We need to stop this test issue. Let's teach reading, writing, arithmetic. Let's get rid of this test stuff. We need to decrease the bureaucracy of paperwork, the politicization of teaching. We need to increase pay. We need to protect their pension. We need to keep the schools safe. We need to end the political correctness that goes on, to where, and politics in general. Somebody ought to be able to walk into school and wear a Trump t-shirt, a Biden t-shirt. They ought to be able to wear whatever t-shirt they want as long as it's not disgusting and graphic. That's what we need to do. We need to make teaching great again. I am 1,000% behind teachers. And that's one of the reasons why I give out my cell phone number, 859-250-2527. And teachers across the state have been texting me, giving me the information, what they need, and I'll give it to them. We are not going to be a great state without great education.
Mr. Deters, a follow-up for you. On your campaign website, you say, quote, "We will teach true and accurate American history." What does true and accurate American history mean to you? You have 30 seconds.
Well, I'm a history major and I love history. True and accurate reporting means we teach the facts. We don't bend the politics. For example, for all those who are watching are African American, we teach about the great Frederick Douglass. We teach about the great Booker T. Washington. We teach about the great Martin Luther King Jr. We teach about Malcolm X. We teach black history just like American history. Like Morgan Freeman says, when we stop talking about Black History Month and we stop talking about race, racism ends. I think it should play a bigger role. And I like Daniel Cameron, our Attorney General. I don't care for Kelly Craft, Oklahoma Kelly, who's not here. So I'm going to say this gentle. I believe that Daniel Cameron, as the Kentucky Attorney General, should have been much more aggressive in what he was doing in Jefferson County. But more important than just Jefferson County, you need to hear this. Russell Coleman, who is going to be our nominee for Attorney General, is out on the campaign trail, and he told us not to forget the number, 68%. And I'm like, what do you mean 68%? That is the increase in murders in rural Kentucky. 68% increase in rural Kentucky. We have a crime problem in Louisville. And by the way, it's not all Daniel Cameron's fault, because you have the city, the mayor, the commission, and as well as the county bears a lot of responsibility. And he probably feels like he's butting in. But the bottom line is that all hands should be on deck. We need to protect the police, defend the police. The Breonna Taylor incident, by the way, is an example. I don't think he can beat Danny Beshear. Well, I've responded to that already. The incident was all about this nephew of mine swerving his truck, acting like he was going to hit my wife. And I didn't chase him. I followed him. But menacing is in Kentucky is when you scare somebody. It was a vendetta and political prosecution, and it's a much ado about nothing. You can be guilty of menacing if you scare somebody. Harassing communications, if you send a text you don't like. You know how many harassing communications I get every day and they're not charged? It's a much ado about nothing. You know what? The reason why it hasn't affected my candidacy at all is because all the people that know me and have been following me for all these years know that I'm a passionate fighter. They've had enough of these career politicians. These are, with all due respect, and I like them both, are career politicians. 2 terms agriculture commissioner, needs another political job. Promised 2 terms AG, wants to go for the big boy. They're career politicians. I fought for 2 years for free, helping healthcare workers fight the mandates for vaccines. I went to jail for 8 days telling a judge he was evil for not giving the Durrani victims their trials. People in Kentucky want that.
Thanks for addressing that issue, Mr. Deters. Now back to questions for the whole group.
Can I respond to that real quick?
You can respond in 15 seconds.
Eric, you're a good man, but I don't think 3 years makes a political career. So just say that.
What about 2 years? What about 2 years with Senator McConnell's office in Washington and working for a federal judge?
All right, thank you. Let's move on to questions for the entire group again.
Experience matters.
Gilbert.
Experience and
take
political
control.
bureaucracy.
Thank you, gentlemen. We are moving.
Matt Bevin was just a jerk. He liked making everybody mad. I have this passionate fighter attitude, got a heart of gold. Everybody who works with me, everybody who follows me, it's why I now have more followers on my governor's Facebook page than these 2 fellas. People that get to know me know what I'm all about. I have a big heart. It's about treating people. You're going to have access to me, 859-250-2527, and you can text me any question. I'm going to treat people with respect. Bevin did not. But here is why Ryan Quarles is wrong. He's not a fighter. He's weak. He's really weak. How weak is he? Excuse me, it's my turn. It's my turn.
Mr. Quarles, you will have 30 seconds to rebut.
How weak is he? He backs out of a speaking engagement because he's worried about somebody. We need to beat Andy Beshear by going after him and fighting him. And guess what I am? I'm the only one that supports recreational cannabis. I support casinos coming into this. I support union workers. I support ending this bureaucracy, Kentucky unemployment. I'm the one that will take the fight to Beshear. They won't. With all due respect, it's a silly question. Let me explain why. I don't know what's going to happen. You can't ask a candidate that question when you don't know what shenanigans may take place. I'm the only candidate who's on this platform tonight who is not supporting Michael Adams. I'm the only candidate that says they did steal the election in 2020 from Donald Trump through mail-in ballots and all those shenanigans. I am a fighter. Kumbaya is not going to work against Andy Beshear. It wouldn't have worked against Hillary. That's why I supported Donald Trump. Kumbaya doesn't work. We need a fighter.
Same follow-up. As governor, how could you make sure the votes are secure and the results of the 2024 presidential election would not be questioned in Kentucky? 30 seconds.
You just have to make sure you get the right people in the room and you sit down with the Secretary of State and all those who, I tell you one thing I'm against, task forces. I've heard my opponents talk all the time about creating a task force or creating this commission. We got enough bureaucracy in this. We need less bureaucracy. But the bottom line is you just got to do your job, make sure it's all accurate, make sure it's all done fairly. And you know what? You have to do it because there's nothing more sacred than the integrity of our elections. If you decrease regulations and do tax reform, businesses will fly in here and the existing business. I am against all the woke corporate stuff. On my show, The Eric Deters Show, I speak out on it every single day. The pronoun stuff, forcing kids to see drag queen show, drag queens on beer cans, the ESG, saying you have to invest in these companies. Allison Ball claims that she's done a good job keeping that out of Kentucky. I am against every single thing that's going on with woke corporate America. Woke corporate America is the problem in this country with the woke media, with the Democratic Party, with all of them. I call them the American Communist 10. Hollywood, the music industry. It's incessant. It's insidious. It's incestuous. It's just sick. And I oppose all of it. And I think I speak for Kentuckians everywhere that they oppose it, especially in this Republican primary. No one speaks out against this CRAP more than me. and I'll continue to do it. If I'm governor, you won't have to deal with this stuff.
So, Mr. Deters, yes or no, do you think decisions made in Kentucky will deter businesses from coming to Kentucky and also staying in Kentucky?
As governor of Kentucky, there will be no deterrent of businesses come in. If they're a woke corporation, I don't want them. Like Disney in Florida. We don't want them. We won't need them.
Thank you, Mr. Deters.
No, I support Donald Trump's position. I have the same position as Donald Trump, who I like to remind my pro-life friends, with his Supreme Court appointments, got rid of Roe v. Wade. Here is my abortion position. Let's make it very clear. Unlike them ducking it, I'll answer it directly. I am against abortion. I think it's abhorrent. I'm pro-life. However, and life of the mother exception, rape and incest, they are victims of a crime. Now, the pro-life people will tell you that child is innocent. They're not part of the victimization of the crime. I believe in Jason Nemeth's bill. What Jason Nemeth's bill was, I would support that, 15 weeks. So my position is life of the mother exception, rape and incest up to 15 weeks. However, and this is really important because I got asked this question, would I sign or I would push for any change in the current legislation in the state of Kentucky? And the answer is no. In other words, where Kentucky is right now is safe with me. I'm not going to try to change that legislation at all. The only preventative thing that I would do on gun violence would be this: arm more citizens. The more armed, for example, that shooting in Louisville, nobody's answered the question for me. Were the people that were working in that building not allowed to have a gun by employment policy? Armed citizens reduce that. And here's the other thing. I hate corporate health care. I call on tonight corporate health care because they love money. Let's build more mental care hospitals. All Big Pharma does is dole out the prescriptions and let them live among us when a lot of them need to be in a mental hospital. So corporate health care, let's do mental hospitals.
Thank you, Mr. Deters.
Alan Keck's going to love to hear my answer. The other night, I didn't get the question that he got. I support the destruction of weapons which are used in gun violence. For example, that weapon in Louisville, the concept and the idea that that gun could be resold is crazy. In Oklahoma, Kelly Craft, when she got the question, she goes, I'm against any infringement upon the Second Amendment. The destruction of a gun used in gun violence isn't about the Second Amendment at all. Queen Kelly got that one wrong. This is another example of lack of common sense in Kentucky. First off, my heart breaks for children. And I want every parent in the state of Kentucky and every grandparent to know in the state of Kentucky that when I'm your governor, the first thing I'm going to do is talk to Stivers and Osborne and say, let's change this law and allow school teachers to be armed, and this just makes no sense, allow veterans, retired police officers, and those that are properly trained to volunteer. Is there a school in the state of Kentucky that couldn't find volunteers at no cost to that school district? I doubt it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Mr. Deters, what's your choice, hot brown or Derby pie?
Derby pie. My mother and my wife make the best Derby pie, with all due respect to Mackenzie and Kentucky.
Okay, come on, Mr. Cross. Basketball or football school?
I think it's a disingenuous question to make sure we have the forces to
Politician. Career politician.
All right, Mr. Deters. Thank you, Mr. Cross. Mr. Deters, is UK a basketball or a football school?
It used to be a basketball school, but it's becoming a football school. I support both programs, and I'm going to be bold. I'm a little concerned of what's going on with UK basketball. For all the Big Blue Nation out there, all these transfers, I think we got a problem. We need to correct it to keep it a basketball school.
Uh-oh, that might be the most controversial answer you've given yet.
Bold.
Thank you, Mr. Deters.
I would just like every single Republican in the state of Kentucky to recognize you have an opportunity that you haven't had for a long time. Somebody who's got some extraordinary talent, who's willing to put it to work for you. Full access, full transparency, teammates, thick and thin. I will fight for you like I have fought for clients and issues like no one else. This is an opportunity that you have. And between now and May 16th, you can take full advantage of it. I beg you and I implore you to vote for Deters for Governor, DetersForGovernor.com. Thank you.